Greetings, gamers, and welcome back to Perfect Date. I'm really glad you decided to stick with me on this one. I'm kind of committed to seeing how it ends at this point. Thank you all for joining me. You know, of course, Perfect Date was made by the Bay team, and I just had to show you this that I just found. Aren't these selfies, pictures, adorable? I really do like this game, guys. I know, I would hope so because I've been making a whole thing of it, but everyone who did it did such a good job, and I really like that their credits has a slider so you can actually read them rather than just going to be like, boop, this is how we think you should read them at, and then you're all done. So yeah, just wanted to show you that, and let's get right into it. We are still on Chapter 1. We have done 1 research, 2 recons, and 0 cats are romanced. We're doing pretty good on the antidote, so let's get back to it. Let's do the second research. We've got 2 researches left. Obviously time to route up some rowdy kitties, or a slow day. Today I've only got to organize a few samples from previous field trips. Let's go ahead and do cataloging samples. Today, I'm in the lab doing flora research. It's not the most exciting job, but if I keep my head down, I can get through it quickly enough. It really just consists of unpacking the new samples of plants and flowers that the professor and I have collected on our foraging expeditions and logging them into the database of organic substances on the computer. Simple data entry. Most of them are commonplace plants that grow abundantly in the forest, but occasionally we come across something more rare. Exotic, even. We still know nothing about these 2 cats in the cages here. I know they're just set dressing, but the fact that we've got cats in cages is interesting. One of the samples I'm looking at today is Calendula incana maritima, which according to the major is a marigold, if you remember episode 3, which is very interesting indeed. I can't help speculating that it's been cultivated in the marigold's little greenhouse, the 2 caretakers that we have not actually met but are named the marigolds, and then transplanted to open ground. I'm distracted momentarily by the sound of clinking glass, and I turn to see the beautifully manicured paw of a sphinx cat tapping on a beaker, nudging it perilously close to the edge of the counter. Oh, you can't help being a cat, can you, Snooty Booty? Boots, stop that! You're not supposed to be in here! She laughs as though I've told a joke. That's a frightfully pretty flower, Calendula incana maritima, if I've not mistaken. You never cease to amaze me, Boots. How on earth did you know that? Well, I'm guessing the major told her, or, you know, it's pretty common. Why, I make it my business to know all about rare and valuable works of art. Art? Why not? It has been created like a sculpture or a painting. The marigolds are true artists in the garden. I wondered if they had something to do with this. It's so unusual, even in its natural swampy habitat, but to have it growing here in the forest is very out of the ordinary. Also a reminder, that trail that led us to the pictures was a trail of marigolds. Suspicious. We really need to talk to them. I hope we get to soon. Yes, its properties are extraordinary too, human. Well, I'm quite new to botanical science, so I probably don't know the half of it. Why don't you fill me in? Although I'm always happy to facilitate your learning, human, I simply can't stay here a moment longer. The air is so stale, don't you find? I ignore her sideways glance and upturned nose. Let's go to the beach and drink some coconut water, and I'll tell you everything you need to know. Snoots, I'm not going anywhere until I finish this. Don't be ridiculous. You can tinker about in here any time, but the sun will be gone in an hour or 2. I'm not tinkering. This is my job. If I don't get it done, the professor will want to know why. Then explain to him you had better things to do. Snooty Booty, I won't tell you again. If he catches you here, Popper will cage you. Why? Why would Popper cage her? Just for being inside? Is that what these guys are? Are they prisoners? Because Popper's unhappy with them messing with his desk like cats? He's in the wrong business. Be careful with that flower, human. It doesn't do to inhale that fragrance too deeply. I turn to ask why and see her flounce out, knocking the beaker with a swish of her tail as she does. You did that on purpose! But she's gone, leaving me to clean up the broken glass. Yeah, like a cat could help with that anyway, but yes, of course she did it on purpose. You didn't do what she wanted. And the cats don't get along with Popper. That's interesting. Interesting. Now, there are only 2 unlocked recons. Let's see if any more of them have unlocked. No. So we are unable to do any more recons today, or in this chapter, or whatever this is. I can't wait for chapter 2. So, I guess let's finish up our romance tracks, and then do the last recon. She's still brokenhearted. Probably she's mad at me because I wouldn't go drink coconut water with her on the beach. I don't know. McMurphy! Love of my life, how is my wild Irish rose? As the sun is going down, I decide to retreat into my tent for the night. When I undo the flap, I see McMurphy curled up asleep on my pillow. Aww. Kitty. McMurphy, you're gonna get fur all over everything. Lydia, you are far too invested in the lives of these cats to worry about fur now. Oh, hi there, Cara. You're back late, you rapscallion. Why are you in my bed? Oh, come now. We both knew I'd get into your bed eventually, didn't we? Wink. I know it doesn't say the wink, but I keep seeing him do the wink. My hand reaches for the spray bottle, but McMurphy throws his paws up defensively. I'm an unarmed cat, Gara, and I actually came to give you something for good behavior. Don't make me send it back now. Give me something? What? Oh, sure, now you're listening. I found something that just might interest you. If it's more that grog, McMurphy, I can assure you I'm not interested in the slightest. I sit on the edge of my bunk and push him off my pillow, but allow him to stay on my bed. As he moves reluctantly aside, I can see a black corner poking out from under my blanket. What's that? What's that? Why don't you take a look? I eye him skeptically, nervous of what he's roping me into now. Tell me what it is first. Oh, we'll just pick it up, Cara. It won't bite. I carefully reach for it, realize it's a small leather book, beautifully aged, and yet seems to be in good condition. I open it as gently as I can, for fear that it might turn to ash in my hands. On the first page, smudged and faded, but not destroyed by time or water, are the words, Captain's Log. I can't stop myself from gasping out loud. Oh, Murph, how did you find this? Well, there's a lot you can find at the bottom of a bottle, or 12. Are you impressed? Impressed? Speechless, I could kiss your furry head. Well, don't let me stand in the way of you and your passion. Wink. I hardly notice he's still speaking, as I have begun trying to decipher the entries, and I'm instantly engrossed. Oh, poor McMurphy, she's left you for a book. That's what you get for trying to date a scientist. 1789. The men are getting restless. I begin to fear for the continued safe running of this vessel, my vessel, of which they are in mind to take ownership if my captain's instincts serve me right. Are you listening? I said you could kiss me furry head. Wink. Oh, sorry, what? I said maybe I should leave you to it then. Yes, no, wait, McMurphy, tell me where you really got this from. Was it the treasure chest? No, Cara, would you believe it? That thing was full of nothing but sand and salt water. That bit of treasure, on the other hand, I found at the bottom of one of my crates of grog, hidden in between the bottles. But this belongs to a captain. Why would it be with the crew's provisions? First, they mentioned a mutiny in the book, possible mutiny, so that's one potential reason. Second, I don't know. I got nothing. I'll let you figure that one out, Brainiac. Think of it as a puzzle to keep you amused on all your cold, lonely nights. McMurphy smirks and saunters out of my tent. Okay, bye! Yes! New unlocks! Recon 15! Oh, they look so happy! Well, let's finish up that recon then. Recon 15. The diary McMurphy discovered in the shipwreck could have some valuable information in it. The book McMurphy gave me is sitting on my lap. I wonder what a pirate's diary is doing on this island. Maybe there'll be some clues within? The log reads, felt an almighty crash, and then silence and stillness everywhere. It took a few seconds to gather my thoughts and understand what had happened here, if it would ever really be possible to understand this God-forsaken place and how we got so far off course to reach here. But in that moment, immediately after we hit the rocks, I knew two things. I was alive and we were on land, and I felt grateful. It felt like a chance at survival, and I was determined to grasp it. I felt my legs, intact thank God, and began crawling over the slate and shingle that seemed to stretch upwards to eternity. What type of place was this? Darkness was falling fast, but I needed to make sure we would be safe in this unexplored terrain. Who knew what would happen during the long night? What creatures it may bring, even what strange meteorological anomalies. Looking at the sky, I felt anything was possible, and we ought to be prepared. We had to work fast. I assembled the men, raggle-taggle though we were, into some kind of orderly unit, in the hope that the familiarity of discipline would raise morale. We were all tired, cold, and hungry. Some of us needed medical attention. This was not going to be easy, but it's what I was trained for, and I would rather die than let my men down. We need to make some shelter. My voice sounded thin and weak against the sound of the waves crashing. At first light, I looked around and began to take stock properly. It was gratifying to see that the temporary shelter we had cobbled together last night was still intact, and no disasters had befallen us to add to the difficulties we were already burdened with. Considering the conditions we erected, this makeshift cover in, and how short a time, I felt heartened for the first time since we were out at sea, before the strange electrical storm began that ended with us being thrust here against the unforgiving rocks of this terrifying place. We could do so much more with daylight on our side and food in our bellies. So they were shipwrecked on this island? The thought of being the first inhabitants here is terrifying. How on earth did they survive? Maybe they didn't. I want to believe they were rescued, but that seems unlikely. I will read more this evening. As I put the book away, a small piece of paper falls into my lap. It must have been hidden amongst the pages of the log. It's a note. Maybe a letter? Alright, so it's not the captain, so... Sally, I know you worry for me, but do not. The men do not treat me bad. They give me food and do not beat me so much anymore. The captain is not so fearsome as what they say and is giving me lessons on my writing. I am improving. I practice all night because I can't sleep. I work hard sometimes till my hands crack and bleed, but I still use them every morning to pray for you, that you are safe and well, and that we will be together once again. I miss you so much. The seas have not been smooth. Sometimes I worry that we will capsize completely and be lost out here forever, but I would swim the widest ocean back to you, my sweet sister. I hope you are practicing your writing too. I would like to read your clever poems again. Your loving brother, Jim. What a sweet letter. I wonder what became of Jim. And that is going to call it an episode for this one. We will finish up chapter 1 in the next one and see what happens. So yeah, a lot of interesting things to think about. There was a shipwreck. The marigolds are clearly the clue to something. Nobody likes Professor Popper. Snooty Booty is a cat. A lot of interesting things. So thank you all so much for watching. Remember to like if you liked, ring the bell, do all the YouTube stuff so that you can watch more if you are so inclined. And as always, keep on gaming.